enough of that shit. Alright, let's look. I'm gonna try to look for something for us to watch real quick. Cause you know what I'm saying? I ain't really come prepared. I'm chilling though, but you know what I'm saying? Hold on. I think this should be alright. You know. Shit. What is it? Labor Day weekend and shit. Hold on, let me find a better picture than that. Yeah. Hold on. I got the chats open too, so if y'all motherfuckers say something, I added a new screen so I can see the chat now all the time. It's no slick shit, motherfuckers. You dig? What game is that? He just got stabbed up like that.
Nikki, what are you doing in Texas? Damn.
Oh, Nicki Minaj.
On the dead homies, we just shut this motherfucker.
The hell is all that? Alright, well, back to what I was saying. My bad, I was looking at that shit what Kanye said. Alright, but yeah, let's get to this video real quick.
Last week, the Indian Space Agency allegedly landed an unmanned spacecraft and rolled out a rover onto the south pole of the moon. As usual, however, nearly 99% of the footage shown of this groundbreaking event was clear, obvious, and very poor CGI. Why do you suppose NASA, Roscosmos, the Chinese, Indian, and all other world space agencies spend money creating and airtime broadcasting all these computer graphic animations of their expeditions rather than showing us actual video footage? How difficult would it be to have a few cameras on these crafts permanently recording different angles of the entire flight for us?
Right.
They allegedly succeeded in
Eric
having a
Dubé.
live telephone conversation between Nixon and astronauts on the moon, broadcast on television over 50 years ago. But with half a century of technological advancement, we still cannot receive live video from these rockets after only a couple minutes
Let me
of
restart
ascent.
it. My camera was obscured. My camera was obscura. Not just playing. I had the cup in the way. That's on me though. We're gonna run a bike. You know what I'm saying? Because I use these videos for edits and shit, so sometimes I run it back for that. Sometimes I run it back because I want to listen to it. But yeah, fuck it, let's run it back.
Last week, the Indian Space Agency allegedly landed an unmanned spacecraft and rolled out a rover onto the south pole of the moon. As usual, however, nearly 99% of the footage shown of this groundbreaking event was clear, obvious, and very poor CGI. Why do you suppose NASA, Roscosmos, the Chinese, Indian, and all other world space agencies spend money creating and airtime broadcasting all these computer graphic animations of their expeditions rather than showing us actual video footage? How difficult would it be to have a few cameras on these crafts permanently recording different angles of the entire flight for us? They allegedly succeeded in having a live telephone conversation between Nixon and astronauts on the moon, broadcast on television over 50 years ago. But with half a century of technological advancement, we still cannot receive live video from these rockets after only a couple minutes of ascent. They always change from live video for the first couple minutes to nothing but CGI for the rest of the journey. Look at these ridiculous cartoon animations and ask yourself, why can't the public just watch the actual live video of the entire journey? Even if only to be recorded and released at a later date, why aren't the public shown unedited video footage from multiple angles of the entire flight duration? Never once has any space mission in history been so transparent as to show full unedited footage of their whole expedition.
Better over
Instead, what we always get is what India's space agency has just given us. A bunch of grown men and women fervently yelling and applauding over pre-made cartoons broadcast as live video.
there. Right.
The still shots we are given from the Chandrayaan-3 are of two
It's
varieties.
cap.
For
Hold on, let's run it back.
last week, the Indian Space
I'm trying to see
Agency
how the
allegedly landed
the
an
transfer look now that I moved the shit over here. It's not bad, I guess.
Last week, the Indian Space Agency allegedly landed an unmanned spacecraft and rolled out a rover onto the south pole of the moon. As usual, however, nearly 99%
right
of
there,
the
though.
footage shown of this groundbreaking event was clear, obvious, and very poor CGI. Why do you suppose NASA, Roscosmos, the Chinese, Indian, and all other world space agencies spend money creating and airtime broadcasting all these computer graphic animations of their expeditions rather than showing us actual
Right.
video footage? How difficult would it be to have a few cameras on these crafts permanently recording different angles of the entire flight for us? They allegedly succeeded in having a live telephone conversation between Nixon and astronauts on the moon, broadcast on television over 50 years ago. But with half a century of technological advancement, we still cannot receive live video from these rockets after only a couple minutes of ascent.
Man, some people might need to watch this a few times. I'm just watching it a couple times because I'm doing something, but watch it from the beginning again. But you know what I'm saying. Some of you motherfuckers need to pay attention to this shit. You know what I'm saying?
Last week, the Indian Space Agency allegedly landed an unmanned spacecraft and rolled out a rover onto the south pole of the moon. As usual, however, nearly 99% of the footage shown of this groundbreaking event was clear, obvious, and very poor CGI. Why do you suppose NASA, Roscosmos, the Chinese, Indian, and all other world space agencies spend money creating and airtime broadcasting all these computer graphic animations of their expeditions rather than showing us actual video footage? How difficult would it be to have a few cameras on these crafts permanently recording different angles of the entire flight for us? They allegedly succeeded in having a live telephone conversation between Nixon and astronauts on the moon, broadcast on television over 50 years ago. But with
Alright, I should probably figure out what I want to do with this shit. Do I want to keep it in the middle? Do I want to raise it up here? Or should I just get rid of it altogether? And when I switch to this screen, I'm just watching the video. Let's try to test that. Let's test that. Let's put it back in the middle. For now. And then test it be just gone. How about that? Let's start it with that real quick. Let's see how that go. Know what I'm saying? Because you never know. YouTube's rules. I mean, never mind. Let's just begin.
Last week, the Indian Space Agency allegedly landed an unmanned spacecraft and rolled out a rover onto the south pole of the moon. As usual, however, nearly 99% of the footage shown of this groundbreaking event was clear, obvious, and very
CGI.
poor CGI. Why do you suppose NASA, Roscosmos, the Chinese, Indian, and all other world space agencies spend money creating and airtime broadcasting all these computer graphic animations of their expeditions rather than
Right.
showing us actual video footage? How difficult would it be to have a few cameras on these crafts permanently recording
Oh,
different
that's wild.
angles of the entire flight for us?
I'm still
They
in the way
allegedly
anyway, right
succeeded
there.
in having a live telephone conversation
Alright, hold on. So I could do it like this, and then I can go like this. Let me go to filter, and then let's put an effect on it. what effect do we want to put on it? Masking or blending. Let's see how that works. Take this thing over here. And then, hold on, why this shit so big though? Whoa, okay, there, it's better. What? That didn't even do nothing? What the freak? I don't see the difference. Hold on. Nope, don't see the difference in that either. Holy shit, I took the stuff out there. That's pretty cool. Chroma keyed them out. Alright, that's not what I wanted to do, but whatever. Alright, let's try. I'm not sure what to do. So I could do this. I could do this, yeah. Alright, I could do this. I could just put it right here. And then, okay, let's see how that works. So, okay. There we go. Wait. Yeah, because if I do that, then I can't hear it. Yeah, I would like to still hear it. Alright. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Alright, there we go.
Last week, the Indian Space Agency allegedly landed an unmanned spacecraft and rolled out a rover onto the south pole of the moon. As usual, however, nearly 99% of the footage shown of this groundbreaking event was clear, obvious, and very poor CGI. Why do you suppose NASA, Roscosmos, the Chinese, Indian, and all other world space agencies spend money creating and airtime broadcasting all these computer graphic animations?
I have somewhat of a solution, but I'm not going to use it because I just thought about it. But nothing for y'all to need to know. Just trying to figure some shit out still. Alright, yeah, with that note, we'll finally actually watch the whole video. But yeah, shout out to Eric Dubé.
Last week, the Indian Space Agency allegedly landed an unmanned spacecraft and rolled out a rover onto the south pole of the moon. As usual, however, nearly 99% of the footage shown of this groundbreaking event was clear, obvious, and very poor CGI. Why do you suppose NASA, Roscosmos, the Chinese, Indian, and all other world space agencies spend money creating and airtime broadcasting all these computer graphic animations of their expeditions rather than showing us actual video footage? How difficult would it be to have a few cameras on these crafts permanently recording different angles of the entire flight for us? They allegedly succeeded in having a live telephone conversation between Nick.
This is so funny.
Last week, the Indian Space Agency allegedly landed an unmanned spacecraft.
Like I said, shout out to Eric Dubé.
Last week, the Indian Space Agency allegedly landed an unmanned spacecraft and rolled out a rover onto the south pole of the moon. As usual, however, nearly 99% of the footage shown of this groundbreaking event was clear, obvious, and very poor CGI. Why do you suppose NASA, Roscosmos, the Chinese, Indian, and all other world space agencies
a lot of people don't know that
spend
CGI means computer generated imagery. So for the people in the back, computer generated imagery, CGI, all right? Shout out Eric Dubé.
Last week, the Indian Space Agency allegedly landed an unmanned spacecraft and rolled out a rover onto the south pole of the moon. As usual, however, nearly 99% of the footage shown of this groundbreaking event was clear, obvious, and very poor CGI. Why do you suppose NASA, Roscosmos, the Chinese, Indian, and all other world space agencies spend money creating and
Right.
airtime broadcasting all these computer graphic animations of their expeditions rather than showing us actual video footage.
Damn.
How difficult would it be to have a few cameras on these crafts permanently recording different angles of the entire flight for us? They allegedly succeeded in having a live telephone conversation between Nixon and astronauts on the moon, broadcast on television over 50 years ago. But with half a century of technological advancement, we still cannot receive live video from
Can't
these
do it no
rockets
more, though, huh?
after only a couple minutes of ascent. They always change from live video for the first couple minutes to nothing but CGI for the rest of the journey. Look at these ridiculous cartoon animations and ask
Right.
yourself, why can't the public just watch the actual live video of the entire journey? Even if only to be recorded and released at a later date, why aren't the
Right.
public shown unedited video footage from multiple angles of
They
the
can't.
entire flight duration? Never once has any space mission in history been so transparent as to show full unedited footage of their whole expedition. Instead, what we always get is what India's space agency has just given us. A bunch of grown men and women fervently yelling and
Right.
applauding over pre-made cartoons broadcast as live video. The still shots we are given from the Chandrayaan-3 are of two varieties. First, we have the overly produced, clearly photoshopped, full-color propaganda pieces, like these, which are shown repeatedly alongside claims of India's successful moon landing, without making it explicitly clear that these images were all created by artists long
Right.
before the mission even started. The second type of still shot we are given are poor quality black and white shots of dirt and a dark background, claimed to be taken on the moon,
On the
but are
moon.
impossible to differentiate from a sandlot or movie set on Earth. Likewise, the short clips of video footage they tease the public with as being authentic are simply 15-second videos of some lander legs approaching a gray background and the rover rolling down a ramp onto some dirt somewhere. Look at the terrible frame rate and artificial appearance of the supposed moon.
Damn.
What bit of
Got
this
me.
footage proves that India has actually landed on the moon? What about these clips
Right.
and images is supposed to silence skeptics and convince critical thinkers that this wasn't filmed here on Earth? The entire mission cost Indian taxpayers $75 million,
That's it?
which is equivalent to how much it costs to make the Hollywood space movie Independence Day without
That's
ever
crazy.
leaving the Earth.
He's showing Interstellar.
It doesn't
though.
take much more than this simple charade to delude the gullible general public. But for those of us who have deeply researched this issue and poked endless holes through the lies of NASA and other space agencies, we know exactly what is going on here. For those of you who still believe in these Hollywood
Exactly.
and Bollywood farces,
Nobody
please do
wanted to
yourself
talk
and
about
the world a favor
the India
and watch
moon
my
landing.
banned YouTube video, 20 Proofs NASA Faked the Moon Landings, linked below in the description box.
Yeah, it's funny, but whatever. I'm gonna try to get some kills real quick, 'cause I don't even know what videos to watch real quick. Y'all got any suggestions or something, let me know. I'll put that thing on, you know what I'm saying? Man, they all on the bridge. That one too? No? What the fuck is that? Fuck it. Damn. Crazy, bro. Holy shit. I got blown up. I'm back though. Get the fuck up out of here. I got this shit going crazy right now. Oh yeah, it ain't safe. Got your ass in the head though. That dude see me going down there. Went down there and got me. I don't need assistance. Oh shit, I'm alive again.
Support drop available.
Need a ranger deployed in my marker.
Nice. Objective thermal blown up.
One down. Woo!
Okay.
Both objectives destroyed. We now control the sector.
Threat mark. 150 meters.
Holy shit. The fucking dude drove by and killed us. That's crazy. That's a first. I'm still looking for a video. Hold on. Is Starfield out on PC or something? Sound like that game out already. We in there though, huh? God, almost. Motherfucker.
We destroyed objective Alpha.
I need help over here.
So close. The US got beat by Lithuania. That's crazy. Holy shit, where the fuck? Motherfucker laying down. Hate that shit.
Make sure they detonate.
I need help over here.
It's not even over and it's got the scary music about to play.
Enemy forces are in retreat. Excellent job.
Victory! We win.
Modern.
Doja Cat got the evil pictures.
Hey, guys.
Yeah. I guess Starfield must be out on PC or something. Damn. Jay Gilgis. I can't remember his name. Alexander or something? What we cooking, boy?
Go to the line.
That's pretty cool. DJ Quick in a dog pound. Above the Law. That's a good movie. I gotta watch that again now. Matter of fact, I'm about to download that shit right now, baby. Patching NBA 2K already. What you thought, nigga? This is the same shit every year. I ain't even pressed it yet though. Hold up. I'm trying to find something to watch. Oh yeah. Template builds gonna be the meta. Stupid. People just saying whatever right now.
Guard until they blow.
People just saying whatever right now. They don't know what the game gonna be like. They gotta play that shit at least for a few nights.
Destroy their objectives.
They tripping.
Control the sectors.
Motherfuckers already talking about how it's gonna be. And you don't even know yet. Fuck. The fuck? Like the bitch say. The fuck? Oh. Where the grenade at though? This nigga trying to die over here, look. I got you, bro. I got you. Don't trip. I got you, man. That nigga slid into his death. Hey, he gonna die too. Shit. The fuck was shooting at me? Fucking stray bullets. Hold on, let me get the fuck out of here. Too many people in here. Damn! I got one though in the head. Motherfucking sniper over the top though. Sheesh. Oh, I'm back. baby. I'm back. Oh, sniper about to get me again, though. Hey, I gotta move. A shake. Fucking sniper's about to get me. Ugh, I know he was. The dogs is shooting the goddamn drones and shit. Oh, I can't get a tank yet. Somebody took it already. This game is crazy, bro. Motherfuckers getting cooked.
Clear. Move up to the next sector.
Okay, I was about to say. Damn! Snipers. That's, yeah, I was about to say, that's definitely a sniper. Snipers. PC impressions. Yeah, so it's out on PC. I'm back. Can't hold me down for too long. Yeesh. Yeah, I got his ass though. Push that bitch. They pushing you now. And no medics. Everybody's a fucking attack. Oh, there goes a medic. Holy shit, I got you, medic. Don't trip. Oh, whoa, 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 we behind enemy lines right here. Oh shit, we're not supposed to be in here. I wasn't even supposed to be in there. What is this about the game? Hold on. Gameplay ruined, so close yet so far. Yeah, I guess they fucked it up a little bit, yeah. But I don't play this game so much that I notice every little patch. Let me see. Look like I got some text. Almost. There's two scary movies. Just watch the one without. Just watch The Boogeyman instead. Hey, 3-screen shouty. That's my new nickname. I'm just playing. Alright, damn, where'd that rocket come from? I feel like I've been dead forever, bro. How many times I done died already? And came back 5 times? Yeah, see, that's crazy. I ain't even got no groove yet. Just keep fucking dying. Look, I'm getting shot again. They definitely did something with gameplay, because, like, snipers are, like, crazy right now.
Tango marked. Explosives armed. Shoot any tango who gets near them.
Stay down. Take cover.
Damn, why couldn't I transfer to the next man?
Tango by the enemy.
That's crazy. I know he was behind that, but goddamn. Defund NASA. Defund NASA. Is that what we're calling for now? Hey. So women deserve nothing. Fresh and Fit is getting, they said, desperate with the content now, I guess.
Multiple hostiles!
What? How am I already being shot? The fucking battlefield's way down here. The fuck? I'll just. Why is everybody going the same way? Let's go the holy shit, that's why. But they're over here too. Motherfuckers getting killed everywhere, bro. Niggas die every day, B. Oh, this off limits over here, that's why. Got his ass. Me and my dog go get him. Alright, now we over here then. Alright, yeah, this is where I have to be. Right on the edge of life and death. Hell nah, bro, you can't pick up your homie. Get the frick out of my way, kid. Damn, they want me dead over here. That's why you always in my way, huh? Making sure this is my line right here.
Hostile presence! East!
Go, I can go, I can go, I can make it, I can make it, I can make it. Yeah, I destroyed some equipment though. Motherfucker.
I don't need assistance.
Oh, okay, I crap up, got some kills again. Lil Wayne scuffle. Holy shit, that's crazy. Definitely not gonna say that. Damn. Alright, I think I got some shit. Let's go. See what we got. Not that. I say I got some shit and then I play that.
So since it's forbidden to explore the reality of the real world in a straight line with a plane or with a ship on curved spinning water, I just have to stick with enjoying a fantasy world like One Piece. One Piece, Netflix live action adaptation, one of the famous manga and anime, which I love so much, and I'm following the anime since 2003, and now the live action from Netflix, which I watched for 8 episodes, is very good, very awesome. At least if I cannot explore the reality of the real world and people laugh at you when you tell them that water is not curved, and when you show them the maps like the Vibes of Cosmos map or the German map, even though Africa and South America, they're probably not like that on that map, but at least the map gives more answers than questions, and the Gleason map also gives more answers than questions, even though it's so
Questions and
wrongly
answers.
put and interpreted on those different online internet groups that go into indoctrination mode in a way or another. But at least, you know, One Piece allows you to break away from the chains of prison reality, and even though it's just fantasy, bad fantasy, makes me want to explore, you know, in a world where I would just like be free and just go wherever I want and have an adventure and exploring different lands and continents and islands and oceans. And that's why I like to escape from the reality from this prison and just watch TV series and movies and anime. And One Piece is definitely one that has made my life a bit better. The manga and the anime, and now with the live action, it put a smile on my face, you know. So I want to make this video and to also put these maps to just allow your mind to go beyond the limits of this imprisonment, because this prison is so boring, you know, not being able to go anywhere you want and just have to accept what they give you, and if you say something else, everybody laughs at you and they call you a crazy conspiracy theorist, and that's the world we live in. And I just get old, and in the end I'm just gonna die. So what kind of like crazy life, right? So boring life. But at least, no, we have fantasy, we have manga, we have anime, we have One Piece. So yeah, I watched yesterday 5 episodes, and the day before 3 episodes, 8 episodes. You should try it. You know, it makes you stay away from the prison matrix world and just escape reality a bit, and then you come back to reality and you ask yourself a question.
Where are these guys?
I wish I could be a free explorer, just like in One Piece, and explore the limits of this world. But that's something that you cannot do, and I cannot do.
Can't.
And now you're welcome, and you're more than well. You can laugh there in your corner, and you can just maybe write a comment or something. But yeah, even if you hate manga and anime, you should give One Piece a try, because it allows you to escape for a moment this prison matrix. And fantasy sometimes it's not sometimes, pretty much every day, because like once you know the real map of the world, but you know that you cannot explore and you cannot do whatever you want to go wherever you want, life becomes so boring, because you know there is more to see, but you're not allowed to do it. So you just feel like a Mr. Nobody. I feel like a Mr. Nobody in my corner because I have no power. But anyway, who cares, right? Because in the end of the day, it's just my own opinion. So enjoy One Piece, enjoy the live action, enjoy the maps of the world, enjoy all 3 of them. The German one, the Gleason one, and the Vibes of Cosmos one. Because from each one, even from the official Mercator Google Maps one, you can still take some good stuff, and once you compare it and you combine it with the others, you can get to some really good conclusions. But you have to spend some time, and you know, it's boring to spend time alone researching stuff which is useless in the real world, because you're not allowed to explore freely in a straight line. So see you in the next One Piece. Super awesome fantasy stuff. Hey,
they ran up on me.
At least it's not forbidden to enjoy yourself with movies, TV series, and animation and anime and manga.
At least we still get to watch TV.
And the only thing we still have, then might as well just enjoy it, because you know we just get old, and that's it. Anyway, One Piece gives me that desire of imagining
ball right there.
What would it be like to have a nicer, more interesting, more entertaining life, which is something that I know you want, even though you don't want to say it, because you know you're afraid of the opinion of other people about you. But because I don't care anymore about what people think about me,
give a shit.
Because you know, who cares anyway? So see you in the next video.
Hey, on that note, I'll be right back. I gotta get some more coffee. I'll holler at you in a second. Give me like 2 minutes. motherfucking mic on real quick. Hey. Hey, what's up? What's up? What's up? What's good? What you doing? Let's get into this video. It's about Doja Cat. Alright. See what they talking about real quick. Turn all this shit down. Hey everybody, I think that's how he's gonna start it. Watch.
Guys, I hope all is well.
Some
Thank you
shit
for
like
joining
that,
me
yeah.
for this Truth Talk episode.
No, let's start from the beginning.
Hey guys, I hope all is
Yeah,
well.
hey,
Thank you for
guys.
joining me for this Truth Talk episode. In today's episode, we're going to be talking about Doja Cat's new video, Demons, and connecting them to her last video, Paint the Town Red, and Attention. But before we begin, I just wanted to let my patrons know that I'm sorry for being late. The Hawaii video is dropping tonight on the Patreon channel. So if you're a patron, make sure you go check that video out later. Also, I want to remind you guys to subscribe to the second channel, Truth Network. We got a lot of new content coming out on there that you won't be notified
Truth
about if
Network.
you're not subscribed. You can find the channel tag
Alright,
in the
let's move it
description of
on.
this video or on my channel page, like this in the Slipknot music video. Now, pop stars, rappers, and R&B singers all use demonic imagery. What was once
Everybody.
only seen in the heavy metal rock genre somehow spread throughout all genres of music. People like DJ Academics claims this is only a gimmick to sell records by shocking the fans.
Up on Billboard. Like she just started at debuted at 50. She's at number 5 now. So
With what?
Not really-
Like what song?
It's called Paint the Town Red. In video, she's demonic. It's some demonic shit.
Really? That's the name of the
Yes.
song? Paint the Town
Yes.
Red.
She lost 2 million followers. She lost 2 million.
Whoa, she got 22 million in the last. Oh, I see why she's acting like that. She got
Yes,
22
right.
million views in 3 weeks.
So
Oh, it's all
she
marketing.
needs
Oh,
to-
never mind. It's fake. Oh, I thought this was really her.
Never mind, it's
Promote
fake.
music. Okay.
Bro.
Yo, hold on. Who's better at being demonic, her or Uzi?
You gotta add Cardi too.
I don't think Cardi's
No, she won, bro. She got Satan horns and all black. Ooh.
As you heard for yourself, he claims that the fans buy into the satanic act, and for whatever reason, it sells more records and becomes more popular. I don't know how that would work, especially since the average person doesn't decide to listen to an artist because they worship the devil. The demonic imagery has been
Right.
played with for a while, especially in the last 8 years. You think the fans are still going to be shocked by the same gimmick? I don't think so. At this point, the fans are just being normalized to this occult imagery. This is the purpose behind putting occult imagery behind all the major artists. This is exactly what Doja Cat is being used for. Doja Cat for the last
Damn.
year has been fully embracing the occult and is choosing to present herself as a literal demon. We have spoken about Doja Cat so many times on this
Doja
channel,
Cat
and
is
each and
funny.
every time she turns it up a
trolling.
notch. Her last music videos are all playing off the same theme, her rebirth. She is now Scarlet the Demon. All of this imagery started with her 27th birthday party. I know I have mentioned this birthday party in other videos, but it marks an important change. On Doja's 27th birthday, she hosted a massive celebrity party that was themed after the movie Eyes Wide Shut, a movie I have
yeah.
covered that's about a secret party hosted by a code of elites. Like I mentioned before, Doja, for a reason that's obvious to me now, chose to dress up after a character in the movie who gets sacrificed by the elite. This character chooses to get sacrificed in the movie willingly. Not long after this happened, Doja started with the demonic imagery. Before this, Doja still showed the cult imagery, but like most artists, it was hidden in the video or subtle to the point where it wasn't noticeable. But after her birthday party, Doja started being right in the open with her demonic imagery. This party was supposed to represent her
Right.
spiritual death, and then her music video for Attention was her spiritual rebirth as Scarlet. Notice she named the song Attention, demanding that they look at her in the lyrics of the song, as she was now being reborn.
Holy shit,
the
he's
scene
right
where they
there,
show her
laying
covered
on
in
the ground.
blood was her introducing herself as Scarlet. She was announcing that Scarlet was here. This is
Yeah.
common occult imagery, as occultists refer to the spiritual rebirth with becoming their own god and being enlightened. All while this was going on, Doja was on Instagram posting demonic pictures while announcing Scarlet's arrival. Attention marked the beginning of Scarlet, and she is showing exactly what Scarlet represents. The next video after this was Paint the Town Red. This video was full of occult and satanic imagery. We saw Doja Cat showing the one-eye symbolism, riding the beast Baphomet, and flirting with the Reaper. She even showed herself in the bottomless pits, appearing as a demon. The video was obviously depicting Doja Cat's fall from grace, as the video starts with her fall from the sky, all the way to a burning end. Doja was openly showing that she knew how it's all going to end. She wanted the world, and she's showing she had no issues with selling her soul for it. Her latest video continues this demonic Scarlet theme. as she takes it to a whole new level. This video starts with a shot of a
I was right
haunted-looking
there, too.
house as it switches to a scene of a TV displaying static. I have spoken about this imagery before,
dimensions.
and we have seen it in a lot of other music videos. TV displaying static always represents mind programming, as TV programming is what's shown on the TV. They started the YG video for In the Dark with the same imagery, showing the static TV and then the devil, all pointing to the fact that they're using these videos to normalize the viewers to satanic imagery. After we are shown the static TV, we're shown Doja Cat dressed as a demon with horns, a tail, and glowing red eyes, while she's hanging upside down from the ceiling. Openly,
Pretty cool
Doja is letting
video.
it be known she is being used by demons. Occultists believe they can communicate with the fallen gods, which are demons. They allow themselves to be influenced by these fallen spirits when they perform their occult rituals. Aleister Crowley himself, one of the biggest occultists in the world, performed many rituals,
Mr.
and
Do
that's
What
how he
Thou
was able
Will.
to communicate with spirits in order to write the Book of the Law. This is what Doja is saying and doing. Her actions are being influenced by the spirits she's commanding through the rituals. Most people don't believe in witchcraft or the occult, but these same people fail to realize that those that run our world not only believe
Don't
in the
matter
occult,
if
but
you
they
believe it
partake
or
in
not.
it. The Freemasons are occultists. They perform rituals,
Right.
which are demons. They allow themselves to be influenced by these fallen spirits when they perform their occult rituals. Aleister Crowley himself, one of the biggest occultists in the world, performed many rituals, and that's how he was able to communicate with spirits in order to write the Book of the Law. This is what Doja is saying and doing. Her actions are being influenced by the spirits she's commanding through the rituals. Most people don't believe in witchcraft or the occult, but these same people fail to realize that those that run our world not only believe in the occult, but they partake in it. The Freemasons are occultists. They perform rituals and ceremonial magic. They perform rituals in their lodges every single day. The Freemasons also run our world, from presidents to judges, law enforcement, and even the celebrities. They all took the oath. The ones that truly run our world believe these
Damn.
rituals work, and obviously, it has been working for them. So for those that don't believe in it, you just have to do your research, and you'll quickly
Right.
realize what's truly going on. In the next scene, we have
I
the
don't know about
famous
quickly.
bathtub rebirth imagery we have seen in so many music videos. This imagery
Holy
again points to
smokes. That's
Doja's
from The
rebirth,
Shining.
as she can be seen in a bathtub with black ooze spilling out of it. We can also see demon hands coming out of the bathtub. They then show Doja's back, where her giant demon tattoo is visible, but more importantly, we see an image of an eye on the back of her head, once again pointing to the Masonic one-eye symbolism. The demon hand then grabs her head as Doja's eyes roll back to show she's being demonically influenced. In the next scene, we see a representation of the old Doja. She can be seen wearing a shirt that says Cash Cow while she's locked away in an attic. This is obviously supposed to represent the old Doja as the Cash Cow, as it's a reference to Doja Cat's breakout song Moo.
Yeah,
What's interesting
right, when
about
she
this
first
scene
started.
is that it plays into the old Doja Cat being taken over by Scarlet. Scarlet is in control, while Doja is locked away in an attic. Doja in this scene is also surrounded by sheep as she writes her song. This represents how Doja is leading her fans like sheep with her music. She is being used to guide her fans like sheep to a burning end. We saw similar
Right.
imagery coming from Travis Scott's Stop Trying to Be God video or in Tinashe's Naturally video. Doja is showing she is not the one in control. The beast is, which we know is the Masonic order. At this point of the video, Doja Cat sings, "I'm a puppet, I'm a sheep, I'm a cash cow. I'm the fastest growing woman on all your apps now." Openly, she admits she's a Masonic puppet, being used to push the agenda while her sheep worship her. As this is happening, it cuts back to some kids watching the static TV as Scarlet stares at them. Once again, symbolizing the satanic manipulation that's happening right in front of us.
That's pretty
They are
crazy.
showing us that they're manipulating the kids to this demonic imagery. They have
They're going
normalized
after the
Satanism
children.
using these stars. The video ends with Doja floating in the air, as again to be shown as a demon. Throughout the whole song, she's repeating how my demons look, letting the audience know exactly what she is doing. This music video clearly confirms that Doja Cat is a puppet, being controlled by the Masonic
Clearly
order. She has
confirms.
confessed to her fans that she is being influenced by demonic forces, but still, her fans stick by her and worship her. That's why she showed them as sheep by the typewriter. She is laughing at her fans, the very same fans she disrespects
Holy
on
shit, we
several
gotta get back.
occasions. This is how Doja Cat wants to represent herself, as a demon. This is what she truly is. Now, for the people who think this is all still to sell records, don't let yourself be fooled. I already know people are gonna defend this by saying she was just influenced by scary movies. The thing is, Doja has been showing this imagery since before this video. Everything she has been doing is about the devil. It's not just with this song. She has marked her body with demonic symbolism and has embraced demonic energy. How can you still sit here and think it's all a gimmick? The entire music industry is showing this imagery, and it's because it's run by the Freemasons. People like Academics know this, but they choose to play both sides. Academics wants his fans to think he's on the side of the people, when in reality, he's getting paid to tell his fans who to worship. Academics is a puppet himself, and it's the reason he tries to deny the obvious occult practices happening in the music industry. Doja Cat isn't behaving this way to sell more records. She's doing it because she's an occultist, and this is what she's being used for. It's time people wake up and stop falling for the same lies. They're shoving the devil in our faces with these demonic music videos. This is how they're going to normalize the occult to the world. Ask yourself, what's making all these artists satanic when they get in the industry? What's changing them into literal demons? Hollywood and the music industry are the devil's playground, and there isn't any clearer proof than this. Ask yourself, if you're gonna allow yourself to be the sheep, Doja and the other puppets guide to a burning end. Something I found interesting is that every time I went to watch the Doja Cat Demon video, I kept getting the same American Horror Story ad. It's an ad for their new season that's dropping soon, and it features Kim Kardashian. In the ad, they show Kim as some sort of spider demon that is pregnant with a giant demonic spider. This caught my attention because if you saw my last video about the Flash actor Ezra Miller, he stated that Dakota, the girl he groomed since she was 12, was the reincarnation of the Indian spider goddess. Ezra also claimed that their unification was gonna bring forth the apocalypse. Now in this new show, we're seeing Kim Kardashian dressed as a spider demon, just like Ezra was referring to. The fact that they're playing this ad right before the Doja Demon video plays is something that speaks volumes. This show and this music video are connected, and it's all pointing to the times that we're sadly in. For us who are protected by God, we have nothing to worry about, as nothing shall happen to those who truly serve God. But for the ones that are manipulated by these Masonic puppets, I truly worry for. We need to wake those people up. We need to help them see the truth so they can save themselves. It does appear like they want us to believe we're in the end times, and it truly feels like things just aren't right. If it is, I know we will be protected. I just want to make sure our people aren't left behind. Like I always say, we must remember that every day we wake up, our souls are at stake. And we also must remember to help those who can't see the truth find the truth.
Find the truth. Some bullshit like that. I ain't helping shit. Damn, I just got blown up twice. Hold on, give me 1 second. Oh, make this motherfucking fan go faster. Yeah, it is. Alright, my bad. Alright, which one we gonna watch? Which one we gonna watch, baby? Which one we gonna watch? What we got? Oh, the India moon landing. Why everybody making fun of them Indians, man? They done got to the moon. Leave them alone.
And he is critically looking at the visuals.
Dun 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 dun. Dun 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 dun.
जी हाँ, आप अपने स्क्रीन पे देख सकते हैं कि हम लैंडर मॉड्यूल
I was so happy.
People are applauding. Let us all wait to hear from the Secretary Department of Space and Chairman ISRO, Shri S. Somnath.
Damn. Dun 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 dun. Dun 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 dun.
And he is critically looking at the visuals.
Dun 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 dun. Dun 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 dun.
जी हाँ, आप अपने स्क्रीन पे देख सकते हैं कि हम लैंडर मॉड्यूल
People are applauding. Let us all wait to hear from the Secretary Department of Space and Chairman ISRO, Shri S. Somnath.
Holy shit, I was walking backwards. Dun 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 dun. Dun 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 dun. Dun 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 dun. I like this beat, man. It should go hard. Dun, 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 dun. Dun, 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 dun. Got him in the top of the head. Oh, that's nasty. Oh, get out of there. Oh. Dun 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 dun. No, I ain't even see them bitches over there until it's too late. I was in the middle. They couldn't see me. What are we watching? That's supposed to be real? Zero budget? Congratulations, India making it to the moon. Alright, so is anybody
And then I know
talking
we'll
about
talk
it?
to the 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14 videos? There's gotta be more people.
There's more people live on YouTube every minute of the day than 14.
Yeah. I mean, this guy here's got 5,000 people watching live. For he's playing a video game, a little video game. I mean, stuff like that I've always wondered, but now I'm like, oh, well, that makes sense if they're just all cheating. I mean, it probably doesn't have 5,000 people watching. Let's see what's going on. Is there a chat?
How do you think Brighton past Game Week 10 when the schedule looks better?
Yeah, I mean, look at the chat. How could the chat be moving this slowly?
They're all
Our
cheating.
chats move faster than this when there's 300 people. Yet he's got 4932 watching, and it's only moving this fast. Sorry, that's so anyway, what that video was basically saying is that this system is broken and you can't pay attention to live views anymore, and you can't really believe what they're saying because obviously this guy does not have, I don't think there can be a way he's got 4914 watching this as he's talking about a video game or something. I don't know. Anyway, just interesting stuff. All right, so let's talk a little bit about what is our number at now. Let me go back and see if we getting anywhere. Bring this up. So what is it? 256? I guess it maybe he's not working. I mean, but if we can't be seen by other people, then what's the point?
What's
yeah,
the
still
point,
256. Right? I wonder what that reason is why you can't see more live streams. All live. Yeah, it's still showing those same videos. Weird. And some that have just like nobody watching. There's 90 people, 19 people watching. Like, why would this be showing and not ours? We've got 264. You know, that's crazy. I don't know. There's no. Anybody know of another way to look up live views? Is there a website or anything? Yeah, that's a good idea. Post this, start a private stream where you are the only viewer, and then open a bunch of tabs and browsers, and you'll find out. That's a good point. That's a good point. But there's really no use if we're not shown on the live search results, right? So I don't know if anybody can somebody check and just see, go through the same thing I did, because maybe I'm signed into our account, so that's why. So just go to your homepage and then click live and tell me if you see Glowbusters. Everybody's got problems. Mr. One says you can pay for views and subs. Yeah, well that I don't agree with at all. But that's a good way to get your channel shut down. If they can ever prove that you did that, I think you'd lose your channel. But I have seen websites.
On my live page.
Jeez, that was loud.
Modern society is making men weak. Modern society is making men weak and stupid. The evidence is right in front of our faces. Men are falling behind women in every way that counts.
We've seen a decline in traditionally male jobs in manufacturing and heavy industry. That's hit working class men particularly hard. But also the education system is really now failing many of our boys.
Today, only 40% of college graduates are men. Men are 3 times more likely to die from mental health issues. 90% of the homeless population are male. And over 30% of young men aren't sexually active at all, compared to just 19% 20 years ago. It should be clear to everyone by now that society is waging a war on masculinity, and it's destroying men's minds and their will. Modern society is making men weak and stupid. The evidence is right in front of our faces. Men are falling behind women in every way that counts.
We've seen a decline in traditionally male jobs in manufacturing and heavy industry. That's hit working class men particularly hard. But also the education system is really now failing many of our boys.
Today, only 40% of college graduates are men. Men are 3 times more likely to die from mental health issues. 90% of the homeless population are male. And over 30% of young men aren't sexually active at all, compared to just 19% 20 years ago. It should be clear to everyone by now that society is waging a war on masculinity, and it's destroying men's minds and their will. People are getting weaker and dumber. But how did this actually happen? Well, you can thank one man for our modern idiocracy, and his name was Edward Bernays. Despite changing the course of history entirely, Bernays is often forgotten today. As the nephew of Sigmund Freud, he grew up immersed in the world of psychology and understanding human motives and desires. But Bernays wasn't purely interested in just studying psychology. He wanted to put it into practice. If you knew people's desires and underlying motivations, you could tell them anything. So after his family moved to the US at the turn of the century, Bernays went to college and began working as a journalist. But his true calling came when he was tasked with promoting a play. His method was genius. Instead of selling it like any other piece of theatre, he marketed it as an advocacy piece for orphanages. He gave people a real reason to care and transferred their strong feelings for the issue straight onto his product. It was an insanely effective model, and it just kept working. He sold ballet to Americans by emphasizing its sex appeal. He made an opera singer into a household name by spreading rumors about the extreme lengths he took to keep his singing voice intact. Soon enough, Bernays realized his skills were being wasted on just theatre alone, and so he would spend some time working for the US government during World War I, helping them sell the war to the American people. Afterwards, he spent time as a consultant for companies, telling them how to sell their products based on people's real desires. Once, when Bernays was asked to market cigarettes to women, he came up with such a devious solution. His first campaign played on social pressure and body image. He marketed cigarettes as an alternative to snacks, along with pictures of beautiful thin women to sell the ideal. And it worked, but there was still a stigma around women smoking in public. And so, to get around this, Bernays' next campaign was even more deceptive. He sold cigarettes as torches of freedom, convincing women that smoking was a way to stand up to society and its inequality. He planted paid actors in a women's march, then made them all take out their cigarettes at once. Obviously, this was all nonsense. Cigarettes have nothing to do with empowerment or equal rights. But by tying them in with the issue, he made the American Tobacco Company an absolute fortune. Bernays works at the foundations for modern marketing, but despite pretty much founding an entire industry, this wasn't Bernays' most impactful work. Instead, that would come with his work in shaping the mindset that would decide the rest of the 20th century. Bernays' style of marketing pioneered appealing to people's base emotions and desires, rather than their rational mind, and it couldn't have come at a more pressing time in history. The Industrial Revolution was still going strong in America in the 20s, but there was a growing problem around the corner. People just weren't buying enough products to keep up with this industrial growth. People operated on a needs basis. If you didn't need something, then there wasn't really a point in buying it. But Bernays changed this. By using his marketing techniques, companies could convince
came
people
back.
based on their emotions that they wanted something that they didn't really
Don't
need.
even
A
want
product
it.
could be as useless and
Don't even
wasteful
need
as
it.
possible, as long as you can make people feel like they need a
Edward
powerful one.
Bernays,
Instead, that would come with this work
father
in
of
shaping the
marketing.
mindset that would decide the rest of the 20th century. Bernays' style of marketing pioneered appealing to people's base emotions and desires, rather than their rational mind, and it couldn't have come at a more pressing time in history. The Industrial Revolution was still going strong in America in the 20s, but there was a growing problem around the corner. People just weren't buying enough products to keep up with this industrial growth. People operated on a needs basis. If you didn't need something, then there wasn't really a point in buying it. But
Right.
Bernays changed this. By using his marketing techniques, companies could convince people based on their emotions that they wanted something that they didn't really need. A product could be as useless and wasteful as possible. As long as you can make people feel like they needed it, it didn't really matter. Just like with the torches of freedom, companies across the US started selling to people's emotions and their fears and anxieties. People started buying what they desired rather than what they needed. And this is the moment where consumerism was born in America, and rationality started to fade away.
Consumerism,
100
baby.
years later, and now we're seeing the awful effects of this fundamental shift. People are completely controlled by their impulses and their desires. Long-term planning is given away,
Let's go back.
but there was a growing
Consumerism.
problem around the corner. People just weren't
We're
buying enough
consumers
products
now,
to
we're
keep
not
up with
even
this
people
industrial
no more.
growth. People operated on a needs basis. If you didn't need something, then there wasn't really a point in buying it. But Bernays changed this. By using his marketing techniques, companies could convince people based on their emotions that they wanted something that they didn't really need. A product could be as useless and wasteful as possible. As long as you can make people feel like they needed it, it didn't really matter. Just like with the torches of freedom, companies across the US started selling to people's emotions and their fears and anxieties. People started buying what they desired rather than what they needed. And this is the moment where consumerism was born in America, and rationality started to fade away. 100 years later, and now we're seeing the awful effects of this fundamental shift. People are completely controlled by their impulses and their desires. Long-term planning is given away to instant gratification, and it's men that are worst affected. You see, when you look back at pictures from just a couple of decades ago, the men from before actually look like men. Today, not so much. People today look like boys in comparison, like they never
That's
grow
funny.
up. It's an impression that's supported by the data. Testosterone, the chemical that prompts sexual maturity and muscle growth in men, is in rapid decline. A study from 2013 found that average testosterone levels in men had fallen by 1% every year since 1980. And there are huge problems with this lack of testosterone. People don't enjoy working hard. People have no confidence, no ambition, no destiny. And there's a bunch of health problems associated with low testosterone, like some kinds of cancer that have risen due to the sharp decline in testosterone, which is in conjunction with sperm counts dropping like a stone. Clearly something very wrong is happening right now, but it's hard to pinpoint exactly what's causing this mass feminization. But there's a lot of suspects, and the truth is likely a combination of a multitude of things. But one of the main things is the massive amounts of chemicals
What's the
that's tricking
main
men's
thing?
bodies into making estrogen, leading to around half of men
estrogen.
now having gynecomastia, where their nipples become packed with estrogen and start to
Damn.
develop like a woman. I mean, estrogen is the
That's
hormone
nasty.
that causes your body to develop female characteristics. And so why is this happening all of a sudden? Gynecomastia was really not that common 50 years ago. 100 years ago, and it'd be extremely rare. But now almost every man you walk past has some form of
Fat titties.
gynecomastia. And this problem is coming from all the
That's
untested
crazy.
and poorly regulated chemicals that we're putting into our environment and our bodies. People often talk about avoiding BPA, a certain type of plastic, but it's not that simple. Studies have shown that a massive proportion of plastics have what's called estrogenic activity. Chemicals released as these materials break down trick the body's hormone
Plastic.
receptors into thinking they're estrogen. And in
Estrogen.
people, this is causing a wide range of nasty health effects. But the common ones are weight gain, reduced fertility, sex drive, and sperm counts, and even increased rates of breast and prostate cancer. And we're just talking plastics here. The other sources of common chemicals with estrogen activity is too long to list, but one of the most sinister is atrazine. It comes from the most common herbicide in the US, which gets sprayed on 3/4 of cornfields as well as a ton of other common crops. Once it's there, it can leach into the groundwater and eventually make its way into the reservoirs and the water supply. And so much of this chemical has been used that we now even find it in the rainwater. Ever since the late 90s, we've known that it causes feminization and increased estrogen production in animals.
The late
More recent
90s.
studies have shown strong links to low fertility and sperm counts in areas where atrazine is used, as well as a bunch of other issues with the reproductive organs upon exposure. And with so much estrogen around, you won't be surprised to hear that it's actually in your water supply. And one of the
It's
major
in the
sources
water,
of this
too.
is from female birth control pills. You see, the body only absorbs a small amount of the hormone when it enters the body. Around 90% of the estrogen content of the pill goes straight through, and there it enters the wastewater supply, where it's often filtered and then sent back into the drinking supply, or into the rivers and
Goddamn women
oceans.
pee.
And this can have a devastating effect. In some studies, so much
Hey.
estrogen around, you won't be surprised to hear that it's actually in your water supply. And one of the major sources of this is from female birth control pills. You see, the body only absorbs a small amount of the hormone when it enters the body. Around 90% of the estrogen content of the pill goes straight through, and there it enters the wastewater supply, where it's often filtered and then sent back into the drinking supply, or into the rivers and oceans. And this can have a devastating effect.
That's crazy.
In some studies, fish populations in a lake with high levels of estrogen were almost completely wiped out. Just 5 nanograms per litre has a negative effect. Some rivers and streams in the UK have had levels 12 times that. The estrogen then interfered with the reproductive organs of the fish, and in some cases, male fish even grew ovaries. In humans, estrogen has less severe but similar effects. The amplification of female characteristics and the suppression of the male is something we're seeing all across the West. And this isn't just happening from birth control pills in the water supply. A massive portion of waterborne estrogen comes from livestock. Either it comes from their own natural hormones, or from the massive doses of estrogen we give them on top of that. A large amount of cows are also fed on soy, and this is great economically for farmers, but just like in us, most of it doesn't get absorbed and gets deposited in their manure. Then it gets into the water supply through the groundwater and the waste system, or it gets deposited in food when farmers use the manure to fertilize their crops. And in a perfect world, this wouldn't be an issue at all, but old, underfunded water infrastructure can't filter it out. In lots of countries, water companies have forgone filtration entirely, dumping raw sewage straight into the rivers, lakes, and seas. And so you should probably buy a water filter if you haven't done already. But it's not just this. Plastic trash and other estrogenic chemicals are everywhere. On average, the world makes around 400 million tons of plastic trash every year, with a large part of the waste making its way into the atmosphere and the oceans. It's yet another way that we're drifting further and further away from the natural life that we're adapted for. Sunlight's another good example. Before, nearly everyone got hours of sunlight every day, waking up to the sun and going to bed when the sun started to fade away. But today, most jobs are inside, locking people in grey office cubicles or dark warehouses for 8 hours a day, all under artificial lighting. Never really seeing the sun at all. I mean, the vast majority of people in the world are too exhausted to spend enough time outside after work. Instead, they will spend their few hours off vegetating in front of a screen. Never really having artificial light, only having light from screens. Being sat on their ass, never really moving their blood in their body either. And vitamin D deficiency today is an obvious problem. Around 1 billion people are deficient, and in adults it can make you tired, depressed, and weak, destroying your testosterone. And high levels of body fat make you so much more susceptible. Fat cells store vitamin D and keep it isolated from the bloodstream. And considering that 4 out of every 10 Americans are obese, this is a major problem. Obesity is probably the most visible negative effect of one society. There's never existed in human history before, and is a symptom of everything wrong with our modern diet and lifestyle. And just like with vitamin D, it generally makes everything worse. And we all know the problems it causes, and there's just too many to list in this video. But the first thing on the CDC's list is quite literally all causes of death. For men specifically though, it's been shown to lower testosterone levels, increase estrogen production, and generally damage sexual health. Returning to a normal weight though has been shown to improve, if not reverse, these effects. Now there's a million reasons for the obesity crisis, but our modern sedentary life is obviously a huge part of this. However, processed food is especially damaging here. A recent study of over 9,000 people has shown that protein is absolutely key. The body bases hunger and the desire for more food off protein intake. Stuffed with fat, sugar, salt, carbs, and chemicals, protein's hard to find in nearly all processed food, but it tricks the body into thinking it isn't full, leading to overeating on fattening food and eventually obesity. People who had a protein-rich breakfast ate less during the day, and people who ate processed food throughout the day were, on average, the fattest. One of the worst effects of obesity, though, is the effect on your mental health. Anyone who's lost a decent amount of weight can tell you how differently people treat you, from strangers to people you see every day. People seen as more attractive obviously have more success in their love lives, but they're also seen as being smarter, better at their jobs. Attractive people even get lighter sentences for the same crimes. It's an unconscious bias that all humans have, and other than dealing with the consequences, there's not really much you can do about it. Studies have shown that the judgment happens almost instantly, even when people are told to focus on something else. In all likelihood, it's another leftover from prehistoric man, because at the end of the day, who would you trust to help you hunt for food or build a shelter? And this will affect you today. In fact, people base their whole identity around how they think other people see them. This subconscious process, first described by the sociologist Charles Cooley, is called the looking glass self. You see, every time you interact with someone else, your brain sees subtle changes in their face and the way they talk to you. Based on thousands of these moments, you slowly build an idea of how people see you. People change their looks, the things they do, and the image of themselves, all based on how they think other people are viewing them. And so if you're obese, if you never get sunlight, if you're pasty white, stuck in an empty office cubicle, especially early on in life, then this all gets thrown out of balance. You notice people's poorly hidden looks, or the way other kids tend to avoid you, and this then impacts your sense of how people see you as a man. Then if you develop a poor image of yourself, it's incredibly hard to root it out. People might just be acting normally around you, but because of warped self-image, you'll still perceive the feedback as negative. This, combined with the negative effects of obesity on brain chemistry, is the reason that obesity is actually destroying many people in our society. Men aren't just getting weaker though, they're getting dumber as well. Processes that started centuries ago, combined with some modern differences, have made people dumber and more ignorant than ever. And it all began in America. Now, for a nation who calls themselves the greatest in the world, it's not surprising that American culture is woefully ignorant to the outside world, and this isolation began early on. One of the most active and powerful political movements in the 1800s was called the Know Nothing Party. Nationalistic and fearful of anything foreign, they pioneered a political platform based on blaming immigration for the nation's problems. They blamed Irish and Italian immigrants, as well as Catholicism. They spread outlandish conspiracy theories about their opponents and pushed their religious beliefs into education. At their peak, they had over 100 congressmen among their ranks, along with state governors, lawmakers, and thousands of other politicians. Although short-lived, the Know Nothing Party laid the groundwork for the American fear of outsiders and their devoted belief that they were superior, but it was their promotion of willful ignorance that has had the most lasting effect within the country.
Going to name as many countries as you can.
Hell no.
Africa.
You can't name one? One country.
South America. North America.
So you can't name one country on this map?
No, I can't. Antarctica.
And 100 years later, and the same ideas and values had come to the forefront again. Just as the world was opening up after World War II, America closed itself off. This time it was their obsession with communism and the Red Menace that caused it. While America spread their culture to a war-torn world, it didn't go the other way. Hollywood had the largest budgets and hadn't been interrupted by getting invaded or bombed, so American movies could easily outperform any foreign one. When Americans then built infrastructure in other countries as part of their aid packages, their culture would always come along with it, and it never went the other way. So with a history of nationalism and the menace of communism to be suppressed, barely anything foreign could reach the eyes and ears of Americans. If it conflicted with their stringent religious values, or even had a whiff of communism about it, America's censors didn't let it through. Fears about communist subversion and infiltration got so bad that a baseball team renamed themselves from the Cincinnati Reds to avoid links with communism. Psycho and its grim shower scene left such a mark on culture because, apart from being so well executed, it was completely unprecedented for American audiences. Prior to 1960, even a little splash of blood and gore was completely banned within all American movies. The censorship was just too strong to let in. And Americans really never traveled much outside of their country either, meaning that everything you could want to do or see is still within your own borders. You could explore massive cities, scorching deserts, snow-covered mountains, and lush forests without ever having to leave the country. I mean, even in 1994, only 10% of Americans even owned a passport. This might be a bit misleading though, as international flights weren't accessible for most anyway. Also, it's only recently that you actually need a passport to go to Mexico or Canada. And so since then, it's risen to over 40%. However, 40% is still incredibly low. I mean, for reference, 76% of the UK population has a passport, and even Canada has a 70% passport ownership rate. And so all of these combining factors led to the sanitized, completely inwardly focused culture of America today. Even today, the best performing foreign film in America is Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon, which was released in 2000. To put that into perspective, it's not even in the top 500 on the US domestic box office rankings, when you include their own movies. And all of this was made so much worse by the rampant consumerist culture of America. As the wave of American culture hit foreign shores, it brought all of their products and brands with it as well. Benet's work on branding and marketing made them spread like wildfire. With their own countries bombed to hell or still not industrialized, people across the world were eager to live like Americans. Over time, the rest of the world got fully immersed in American culture and consumerism, From Australia to Africa and everywhere in between, you could easily watch an American movie and chow down on American fast food. Fast food that was packed with estrogen and other demasculating chemicals. Today, the list of countries without a McDonald's gets shorter every year, and you can get a nice refreshing Coke pretty much anywhere. Anything estrogenic, anything that will poison your body, you'll be sure to find has come from America and landed in your shores. But with consumerism came the inevitable downsides. Greed and materialism became the norm. It's not that there weren't greedy people before, the American system just gave them a way to push it to the max. Worldwide obesity rates tripled as well, adding into more demasculation across the world. It's not just obesity, of course. All of modern society's awful effects on your body will impact your looking glass self. Because certain aspects of modern life don't just interfere with your health, they actively undermine your ability to focus and think clearly. As we all know by now, social media rots your brain. It makes you more likely to be depressed, but more importantly, it destroys your attention span like many of us have experienced, and this is all based on dopamine. This system that's meant to push animals towards certain behaviors has been taken advantage of and hijacked. As many of us know, these short little TikTok videos, Instagram posts, girls in bikinis, the next YouTube podcast, all triggers little dopamine releases on a constant small scale. But over time, as you continue to consume so much of this content, after the next notification, the next Tinder swipe, the next YouTube video, you start to build up a resistance. You start needing more and more dopamine to get that same feeling. For drug users, this means taking a bigger dose. But for social media, it means spending more and more time in front of the screen. It stimulates the release we get from socializing with each other. Every like, retweet, and follower is another little boost, another little dose of dopamine. And over time, our dopamine resistance builds up. Social media starts to outweigh everything else. And that's when you're left with a generation of people who can't go 10 minutes without checking their phone. But that's not the only way social media is rotting people's brains. Short-form content platforms like Instagram, Twitter, and TikTok are especially damaging because they provide a better alternative when it comes to dopamine efficiency. The brain likes things that are easy, that don't need much investment, and won't require too much time. In nature, this would be beneficial. The animals that can save the most energy will be the most ready to outrun a predator, will control their hierarchy. But in our consumerist, warped, modern world, this natural impulse has already been turned on its head, just like everything else. Short-form content is so addictive because it gives you a similar dopamine for far less effort. Why read a newspaper or watch a film when you can watch the first 5 seconds of a few hundred TikToks instead? When you step back, it seems ridiculous, but in every decision to watch another one, there's a logical reason your brain carried on swiping. It justifies it as being such a small investment that it may as well watch another one and squeeze out a little more entertainment. And this subconscious loop carries on, and before you know it, you've lost an hour or two. Nothing is ever good enough for the brain because it's always adapting to what you give it, and over time the brain then builds up more of a resistance. People then double down by watching more and more and more, using more social media, more Tinder swipes, more OnlyFans videos, more TikToks. Get into this dystopian point where you get family clips mixed in with Subway surfers in the background, helping people numb themselves even more, inducing the public into a brainless trance to absorb more 10-second clips. And so it's easy to think that the internet could reverse all of this cultural isolation and give people a broader mindset about the world. And yet in many ways, the access to information has given people a more global outlook. It's the easiest it's ever been to interact with other cultures, or make friends over long distances. But the way people take in information about the world hasn't really changed at all. In fact, it's gotten even more one-dimensional and insular, constantly distracted, going from one topic to another with a swipe of your screen, and on average, people never get any deep knowledge from the internet and stay stuck in their isolated bubble. And considering more than 2/3 of American teenagers use TikTok, and nearly 20% say they're on it almost constantly, this isn't a good sign. This endless supply of empty entertainment makes everything else seem dull in comparison, sucking kids' attention, wonder, ambition, and experience of life. On a wider scale, it's changing how we learn things. Getting your information about the world from short-form content does teach you a lot about different things, but because of how people consume it, it's rare that anything ever actually sticks. And even if you do remember some of the details, it only ever amounts to surface-level knowledge. And this then develops echo chambers, where you're always provided surface-level knowledge, extracted from an algorithm designed to evoke your emotions, never giving you any other perspectives, always keeping you in a single lane. And all of this content can usually be incredibly misleading in such a subtle subconscious way. The algorithm's pressure to be as bombastic, outrageous, and alarming as possible means that you never really need to stick to the facts. And some people use this argument of misinformation to say that we shouldn't have free speech anymore, that the Mark Zuckerbergs of the world should control the flow of information. But that's not the issue. The issue is that our speech isn't free enough. People stay in their echo chambers chambers, which has been censored down and watered down by the people running big tech, and then people willingly buy into it in this numb, passive state. And as almost everyone learns about the news and events in the world by algorithms, then people would start to see a wide range of opinions and arguments if it wasn't for these exact algorithms. They'd have the ability to see the whole issue from every angle, rather than a 20-word summary of their preconceived opinion. Actual in-depth knowledge about the subject requires focus and long periods of thought and study, but because people don't have the time or attention span for this, why not just have a chopped up, numbed, empty opinion shoved down your throat? And this is when social media destroys your looking glass self. You see, before the internet, your idea of yourself was solely based on interactions with people in real life. In the close-knit communities we used to live in, these interactions would be based on a deep impression of your character and who you are as a person. That's what our brains evolved to deal with, but social media hijacked this as well, by throwing in thousands of judgments and things to feel insecure about every day. Sure, your rational mind knows they're not really directed at you specifically, but all the unconscious parts of your brain don't, and we apply these criticisms and opinions to ourselves without even knowing it, and it impacts the way you build your looking glass self. It might not create new insecurities, but it definitely amplifies them. They act as limiters on people, drains on their confidence that push them towards inaction and overthinking, and it's this process that's the most damaging to men. How many of the great men of the future are already being undermined by some anonymous idiot's opinion, made to feel inadequate because they don't meet an arbitrary height requirement or because they haven't slept with enough people? Ironically, the dumbest people won't stop to think about these things anyway, shielding them from the worst of it. They'll keep happily going through life, while smarter people get lost in overthinking and retreat into themselves. And we live in a time where information is easier to access than ever, but it doesn't matter for most. All of these different pressures are making people more ignorant, and that's no wonder politicians now talk to people like they're children, because that's what works now. And it hit me recently that communities, small tribes of people coming together, resisting all of this modern bullshit and rethinking our position in all of this is actually what's essential to overcoming these very obstacles. You see, instead of continuing to live in a world where your desires, purposes, and routine is dictated by faceless corporations thousands of miles away from you, what you really need is a small community of like-minded people. This is what men have had throughout thousands of years of human history. And on YouTube, I've been able to go over some of these modern issues you see. Men becoming weaker, our 1984 society, our warped habitus that destroys our own thinking, whilst also trying to mix in some of the teachings of the best philosophers and religious stories out there to give more meaningful solutions than just having a cold shower to modern problems. I mean, it's literally been years now that I've been talking endlessly about the unprecedented levels of loneliness, purposelessness in modern society, and how this is driving us towards behaviors like social media addiction and other toxic behavior. Because personally, I've struggled with this while trying to build my YouTube channel. I got so lost in distractions despite knowing better. And you see, the thing is, this isn't a problem of a lack of information here. It's our mindset. It's our cultural mindset. And that's why I've spent years diving into philosophy, psychology, and sociology to understand and change the fundamental layers of my mind that were holding me back. And the result was, for me personally, was that I was able to change my routine, I was able to break free from the grip of procrastination, and managed to build a successful YouTube channel in around 2 years that I truly think has positively impacted many, many lives, judging by the thousands of comments like this that I've received. And while I have been able to share some of this knowledge through my videos, the format of these videos limits how deep I can really go here. The YouTube app.
Now he finna try to sell me something. I don't want to buy it though, but I appreciate your time.
I will not try to give Dr. Irwin's talk this morning. I don't know just how he intended to do it, but we will try to cover some phases of the theme with which his morning talk was dedicated, and that is the place of America in the world plan of things. So we're going to start quite a long ways back in the days of the Greek myths. And we're going to realize that from the very earliest periods of Greek culture, there were legends about a mysterious world of the future. A world which was to be a blessed place. A place that lay beyond the boundaries of the sea. We know that the islands of the Hesperides were believed to lie out in the Atlantic Ocean, thousands of miles from the coast of Europe. And these were the lands of the blessed. And at very ancient times, mariners attempted to reach this mysterious world where the golden fleece was hung upon a tree and where all the Argonauts went forth in search of this golden fabric upon which were traced in letters of fire the laws and wills of God. One of the most interesting early records that we have in a little book in the library, on the navigations of the Greeks as recorded by Plutarch. According to Plutarch, Greek explorers actually discovered the mouth of the St. Lawrence River and explored part of the territory that is now in the northeastern part of the United States and southern Canada. They took back the legends and stories of their journey. They reported a beautiful and fertile land that had never been ruined or disturbed or destroyed by the sins of mankind. They described in considerable detail the boundaries of this wonderful region. And from the story that they left, a whole group of utopian legends developed. These legends had to do with this wonderful world beyond the sea, where all things were going to be wonderful and beautiful. And in due time, this land, which had been set aside for the gods, for the preservation of civilization, was to be a mysterious ark-like vessel into which would flow those of the world who appreciated and understood the real destiny of man, the spiritual problem that man would face, and his victory over the sorrows and iniquities of his environment and the weaknesses of his own nature. Another very interesting legend dealing with this particular problem evolved right here on the Western Hemisphere. We have overlooked many things. If you ask today where democracy began, most people would probably suggest the Swiss Confederation, in which a series of cooperative units, separated by language and by many customs, were able to form a confraternity of social purposes that has continued even to this time. It is said that the theologian Andre, who is accredited with having actually written the first text of the Rosicrucian Manifestos, copied his idea from the Swiss Federation, where there was to be the basis of a universal reformation of human relationships. And he used the idea of the Swiss, in which a group of different nationals were living together in peace and tolerance, as an inspiration towards the larger revolution or restoration which he envisioned. Actually, however, the democracy began much earlier. Democracy apparently began here in the Western Hemisphere. It was a birthright of the land itself. It came long before any travelers from other regions established settlements here. There were three great areas in which political and governmental structures were allowed to grow and unfold in the Western Hemisphere. These were North America, Central America, and South America. North America was the center of the Indian and Indo-American culture, and probably the most interesting and important of these particular groups was the Great League of the Iroquois Nation. This league was developed and perfected before the arrival of the foreign travelers and colonizers. This league was originally the League of the Five Nations, but later became the League of the Six Nations. And this is the League of Nations, according to historical record, that inspired Woodrow Wilson to formulate the 14 points of his League of Nations.
I'm gonna holler at y'all motherfuckers later. I got some other shit I gotta do. We'll get back to this next time, though. Yeah. I'll holler, man.